Monica Paige, Turning Point's White House correspondent, with a brilliant package. Watch this, and we'll discuss with her the Voice Office back in effect in the Trump administration.
American citizens are no stranger to what President Trump has labeled as migrant crime. Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungaray, Laken Riley, Kayla Hamilton, Ruby Garcia, and now mother of two, Larisha Sherelle Thompson, all have seen their lives ended at the hands of illegal aliens. In an incident that appears to be underreported, 6 illegal aliens from Honduras between the ages of 13 and 21 were charged with the murder of South Carolina mother Larisha Thompson. Local reports suggest the 6 illegal aliens pulled up along Thompson's vehicle, fatally shot her, and attempted to enter her vehicle. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office weighed in on this heinous murder, admitting these individuals should have never been here.
We have 6 individuals in our community, for number one, wasn't supposed to be here, and 2, took the life of an innocent lady. Was out here trying to get something for nothing. People like this have no place in our society.
One of these illegal aliens was previously arrested for domestic violence back in 2023, and they now await criminal prosecution in the state of South Carolina. But where do these families of these victims go? Who do they turn to for support after losing their loved ones? To answer these questions, President Trump created the Voice Office, the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement Office. It was established in 2017 to fulfill President Trump's commitment to helping those affected by violence carried out by criminal aliens.
ICE created the Voice Office in response to our president's executive order entitled Enhancing Public Safety in the Interior of the United States. All crime is terrible, but these victims, as represented here, are unique, and they're all too often ignored.
It provided support and resources to victims and their families, helped individuals navigate the complex immigration system, track the offender's custody status, and access victim impact statements and social service providers. In 2018 alone, the Voice Office fielded 781 calls during a 3-month period. Approximately 256 of the calls pertained to the services it offered, and half were requests of immigration cases, referrals, or assistance to social services to help cope with the impacts of domestic violence or assault. But former President Joe Biden dismantled that in 2021. The reason behind that decision? To deny the existence of migrant crime. Under Joe Biden, ICE replaced the Voice Office for what it considered to be a more comprehensive and inclusive victim support system. So instead, the Biden administration completely overhauled the office and created the Victims Engagement and Services line for people to report abuse and mistreatment of illegal aliens in detention centers and become a notification system for lawyers handling immigration cases. While humanitarian advocates championed it, critics argued this signaled a more lenient approach to border security. Stephen Miller previously called the decision to close Voice a, quote, moral stain on the conscience of our nation. But since President Trump's re-election, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced the reopening of the Voice Office.
The Biden administration shuttered this office, and to look at the history of it, there was no reason to do so other than a complete disregard for the tragedy that these families have had to live with.
So victims and their families of Joe Biden's illegal alien crime can be provided with not only the resources they need, but also a voice once again. From the White House Forefront Lines with Turning Point, I'm Monica Paige.
Awesome. Love to see it. Let's bring Monica Paige back, Turning Point's White House correspondent. Monica, that was moving it's not, it's an emotional thing, but it's also just a factual and logistical thing of just like, wow, this is great that this is happening. It feels like obviously a step in the right direction. I'm curious though too, not to, give more elaboration on this. I looked this up. When it was first instituted in President Trump's first term, it faced criticism, even from people, some big-time Democrats. Former mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, was not a huge fan. Now that it's reinstituted, are you seeing any pushback? Are you feeling any pushback? Does the administration expect any pushback from libs?
Sure. Well, the administration definitely expects pushback because they did it once before and they're doing it again. And I don't think that these liberal mainstream media members really understand the impact and the benefits of this Voice Office. What's interesting is that, this story is so underreported. And what really kind of broke my heart was the Biden administration completely shuttered its doors. They completely renamed it and overhauled the entire office in general. I mean, if you are somebody that goes through a very tragic situation, devastating situation, losing a loved one, a family member at the hands of illegal alien crime, where do you turn to? Do you just hope that you find some kind of therapy, and just hope that your insurance covers it? What happens? And this was another example of the Biden administration prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens, where this new office that was created under the Biden administration overhauled it to where illegal aliens can report being abused or mistreated in these detention centers. And that's just not fair to the American people who are victims of what happened when you allow for open borders. So we're definitely expecting some pushback, whether it's, in bits and pieces. When more comes out about illegal alien crime, we could definitely expect to hear some criticism. But nonetheless, I think it's fantastic to institute and re-implement something like this, given the fact that Lake and Riley, Jocelyn Nunbray, their families are grieving every single day. So this is great that they have a voice now, thanks to the Voice Office.
Yeah, the voice office was closed by the Biden administration, or not closed, changed to the victims engagement and service lines. Like you said, that kind of is so broad that can kind of encompass anybody who's a victim of anything, including people
Yeah.
who are detained by ICE who are quote unquote victims of the law. I guess. I don't
Yeah.
even.
And
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that the reason for this criticism is that the Biden administration and Democrats alike didn't want to tie illegal aliens to crimes. They just
Mm.
felt that migrant crime just shouldn't be a thing. And by tying the two together, you're just kind of villainizing aliens and villainizing immigrants. And that's just not the case per se. There are certain areas of our immigration that really are just bad people coming into this country. And when you come in here illegally, expect to be face prosecution. That's just how the law works.
Yeah, and it really ties into the whole illegal immigrants commit less crimes than Americans, which is just a total farce. It's not true in any sense of the term, but I guess, yeah, it would be kind of antithetical to the narrative that the Biden administration is pushing. Okay, well, if we're saying that illegals don't commit crimes, then we must not have an open line for them to call if they are a victim of the crimes that illegals don't commit. Monica,
And it's in the name, illegal.
Yeah, right. I'm curious about this. This was kind of interesting. I didn't have this prepared. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So sorry if we don't have any B-roll for it and I'm throwing you off on it. I believe it was the Washington Post. It was one of your bigger lefty outlets was talking about how the arrests of fentanyl drug busts have gone down since the Trump administration. And I kid you not, I think they blamed tariffs, not any sort of shoring up or fortifying of the border. It's, oh, the tariffs are the reason that that fentanyl is down or fentanyl drug busts are down. I think there's so many different facets that are compiled into what goes through the border, whether it's illegal immigration, drugs, just overall, not American values coming into the border. I guess, can you kind of speak to the administration's kind of whole approach? Because there's so many different facets kind of encompassed in what this border security priority actually is.
Yeah, and I think this is the same Washington Post, or maybe it's another outlet that said it's a mysterious
Mm,
decline in the amount of fentanyl coming into
who
this country.
knows?
It's so mysterious. How is it going away? Well, if you take a look at what President Trump is doing, securing the border, rebuilding the border wall, adding more ICE agents at our southern border to make sure that nothing comes in that's going to kill our own citizens coming through the border. There's plenty of great initiatives taken at the southern border to make sure that nothing happens. And I believe that is with our ports when it does come to trade and when it comes to our southern border as well, because there are some ports in the United States that drugs can come right on in when it comes to, where we're getting certain commodities from different countries. Something must slip through the cracks one way or another. But now we are cracking down on our ports. We're cracking down on our southern border and our northern border too, as well, because that's also an unreported story. Our northern border is facing a crisis. So all the steps this president is taking, I don't understand where this mysterious drop in fentanyl is coming from, Joe Bob.
Who
But
knows?
needless to say, it's good for us. It's great for our country.
Yeah, we'll be searching. If we find out how the fentanyl drug arrests have stopped, we will let the viewers know immediately. This is something that we'll have to stick on consistently. Monica Paige, Turning Point's White House correspondent. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe Bob. Appreciate it.